Another day, another snuff. Today we're having a look at Glacier from the OTTO range made by Toque. I am Snuff Anybody. This is the McFeegle Show. So, Glacier. An ice cool menthol with a slight peppermint overtone, based on a medium grind of oiled flue cured tobacco leaves. That's according to Roderick of Toque. But first we'll have a look at it, and then I'll tell you if I agree with him. So, this is the tin of snuff, and I do think that the artwork on it is quite neat. But to the important bit, what's in the tin? In the tin we've got a nice, slightly darker than milk chocolate snuff. Looks very neat. But as soon as we start digging around in it, we see the very high moisture here. You can see how it pills up and how it really wants to stick to my match here. But I'll delve out here a good nice bump, so we can also have a look at the grind. And the high moisture makes it hard, but yeah, I would say this is medium. And no, it doesn't discolor the paper. Looks very good. But let's see what the nose can tell us about this snuff. Well, that's an easy sniff if I've ever seen one. But let's do the tin note. I do detect both the menthol and the peppermint that Roderick talks about here. And the base tobacco comes through even though. But I can't put my finger on any specific scent of it. I can just detect another scent that is not menthol and it's not peppermint. Well, let's have a big nice pinch and see what the nose tells us. Cheers. Okay, the absolutely first thing you detect is actually peppermint. And I would have guessed it should have been menthol, because it's always the first thing that hits you. But here it's peppermint. And the menthol is there, and you do detect it. But it blends so well with the peppermint that it is actually the peppermint that's the main player. And it is an easy sniff. It's a dead easy sniff. A good beginner snuff. It has a very nice cooling sensation in your nose. It's silky smooth. Both tactile, silky to the fingers, but it also feels silky in the nose. And even though it is very cooling in the nose, it kind of gives you a warmth in your cheeks and in your face. You know, like being outside on a very cold day with a cap and a scarf on. Cold around the nose, but everything is warm and snuggly. But back to the scents of the snuff. This is one of these snuffs that you do want to take outside. I did it earlier this day and was very surprised. Because when you do have a good nice pinch of this inside, what you mostly get is peppermint and menthol. And it lingers with you and it stays for a long time. This is a good 10-15 minute snuff. But when you take it outside, it kind of brightens up. It gives you slight hints of something citrusy. And this is not a scent that has been added to the snuff at all. I think it's the base tobacco that's coming through in the fresh cold air. And this was a delight to me, because I was starting to think that we had not a one-dimensional snuff, but a snuff where the added sense of menthol and peppermint was completely dulling out the base tobacco. But if you take it outside, you do get some of the base tobacco. And I'm guessing that there is some Virginia in this, because it had the citrusy overtones, or maybe undertones, I don't know, of bright Virginia. And the peppermint became a bit sharper, and the menthol became less of a player outside in the cold air. This snuff does not produce any forward drip at all, as many mentholated snuffs do. It does produce a bit of a back drip. It is nothing that irritates your throat in any way. It just gives you that cooling sensation down your throat. It's a very good snuff. Nicotine. Yes, there is definitely nicotine here. It gives me a nice nose pulse. But again, I'm not a good judge on what level the nicotine is. I can tell you that this easily satisfies my nicotine hunger, so I'm guessing it's above medium. But that's as close as I can get to it. This is not a snuff that you should take if you are very susceptible to nicotine. If by any chance you are a nicotine weakling, don't go near this one, because it satisfies me and I've got a heavy nicotine tolerance. Ooh. And it do produce a bit of sweat. It's not a face melter in any way. It's very satisfying. It's a very natural peppermint. It's a very good snuff. And on my scale, where a 1 is a revolting, disgusting snuff, and 5 is a perfectly made snuff that I have nothing evil to say about, this is a 4.5. Because I would have liked to have a bit more of the tobacco base come through also indoor. That's all for me. I'm Snuff Anybody. I'll see you tomorrow night with another snuff from the OTTO line. Goodbye.